And we are live. It's just something that we do now.
It is. I have to like train my brain, but it's never going to be trained to not do that. So just like, yeah, we'll be fine. Like train my brain. There we go. I needed to watch it on YouTube. Yeah, I don't think I've been live on your. I haven't been live on your channel since.
It's been a long time since a seat at the table.
Yep.
This has been a minute.
It's been a long time.
So we are 2 days into Black History Month. How are you?
Listen.
Are you already just like done with life? I'm just like, what is going on with 2021? I mean, nobody thought that it was just going to be a magical year. You know, nobody thought that all of a sudden everything from 2020 would just fade away. But I feel like what I'm going through personally, it's almost as if 2020, I was literally just trying to survive the year. I didn't have time to focus on my traumas. I didn't have time to digest anything. I didn't have time to sift through anything. I was just trying to get through the year. And now it's like, oh, let's face up to all of our demons. Here they are. I'm just like, what is going on?
See,
that's what I'm going through.
In 2020 was when, because, you know, you spend all this time by yourself, you have no choice but to face the demons that you've been slowly trying to hide and deal with. But I just laughed because I was just like, we are 2 days into Black History Month and there is Caucasian like foolery at the highest extent.
Wait, what is happening?
Well, you heard about the 9-year-old girl who was detained and pepper sprayed by the police, even though they were responding to a wellness check. Hence why you don't do wellness checks for Black people. Yeah, if you look it up, you'll be enraged. I'm just letting you know now. The video, like there's a video and you can hear the cop basically be like, stop it, you're acting like a child. And the little girl was like, I am a child. And I was like, oh my God.
What is going on? But this okay, here's the thing. I feel like stuff like this happens every year during Black History Month. Like every single year we face things 365. So why would we think that it would stop?
I mean, I know, but sometimes you just be like, dang, can we get a break? Also, courtside Karen was a thing.
I heard about that vaguely. Like, didn't it involve LeBron James somehow, right? Was it one of his games?
Some chick who claims she's 25 but looked like she's 40.
Oh my God! Stop!
Call herself telling LeBron off because her husband said something to LeBron and LeBron came back at him and she didn't like what he said, and then she got kicked out and she just thinks that it's crazy that she got kicked out. It was like, sis,
but you were being abusive.
She was like, if somebody says something to my man, then I'm going to say something. And of course, you know, the internet is just savage and has found her Instagram.
I was about to say.
They found her Instagram and her husband's Instagram, and her husband's like 70. So I went to go look. They keep posting like, I ain't saying she a gold digger.
No. Here's the thing. I don't understand why people don't understand. If you act like an asshole, and you especially act like a racist, bigoted, any phobic asshole, they will find people online. They will find you. They will find your address. They will find where you work. They will find your freaking prison, criminal history, I'm
basically just waiting for her to do one of two things because she has a YouTube channel. So I'm going to wait. She's either going to play victim and turn this into the white tears of 2021, or she's going to buckle down and say, I'm not racist. One of my dearest friends is Black. Those are the only two options that I see going for her. And at that point, I just got to laugh because I'm like, well, Black History Month, turn up.
Wait, she has a YouTube channel?
Yeah, she has a YouTube channel.
I don't even, Lord.
See, like, minding my business.
This is why I stay away from the internet, because it'll ruin your day every day.
I have a 5-minute limit. I have a 5-minute limit on Instagram and a 10-minute limit on Twitter because for some reason it takes me longer to tweet than it does to post for Instagram. So I get on Instagram post the post that I need to post and I dip out. That's why if you follow all my accounts, that's why you see posts just pop up from all of them, because they're like post, 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 dip.
That's funny. Oh my God.
The drama out there is just
it's on a whole new level, clearly.
Yeah.
But anyways, besides all of that, I wanted to have this live because I wanted to celebrate Black History Month starting. And this year, I don't think I'm doing like a TBR video like I usually do.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm not in the mood. Also, I read Black authors all year round. So it seems kind of weird. It seems kind of weird to make like a TBR of Black authors for February when I read Black authors all year. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
You can't say all that and then be like, maybe it's just me. No, it's not just you. It's top.
It just seems odd. It's like, oh, it almost seems like I'm not really making it for myself. It's almost like a recommendations video, which, if I wanted to make one, I would, but I don't. So I wanted to do this live instead so we could just have fun and talk about some of our favorite books written by Black people, some of our favorite things about Black culture and growing up in Black America, and in your case, being Black American. And I'm excited.
I mean, I'm always down for this. The only reason, one, I just haven't really been doing TBRs. I kind of just been reading what I feel like reading. And because, I got a whole bookshelf devoted to Black authors and Black books, I don't feel like it's like I got to remember to post them more during this month, because that is when they will get the most. I mean, that's just real talk. That's when they will get the most publicity.
That's true.
So it's like, if I can help, Black authors get the notoriety and the visuals that they deserve, yeah, I'm definitely taking pictures. I'm definitely posting them all through the month. Like, that's why I'm posting cosplayers too. I mean, I know we deserve more than 28 days, but while we also fight for more than 28 days, I'm going to optimize these 28 days and like flood it, because I've been like, ooh, like, I think because I have to remember this is not Black Prose. So I'm like, I've been walking to some people like, hey, so Black Prose is doing this thing, right? And they're like, oh, what's Black Prose? I'm like, oh, it's a book club made up of 3 Black women. And they're like, oh, who are the people in it? I'm like, oh yeah, that's mine. I'm in it. Talking about it like I wasn't a part of it.
Shameless plug.
yeah, I probably should have prefaced this with shameless plug.
This is my book club. Just want to let you know.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot because I'm like, I'm enjoying it. Well, I guess what I'm enjoying this year, and I don't know if I didn't pay attention to it last year or not, I am enjoying that the Black History Month this year is being led by Black people in the booktube community.
It is.
Because like normally,
that is a change. That is a change, because it's usually the big, usually white,
the big white booktubers like Books and Lala. Not to say that like they're not doing good. It's just that normally when I think about it, those are the people fueling it. Those are the people you see retweeted. Those are the TBR, the readathons you hear about. But like all the readathons that I've been hearing about this month are all led by different Black booktubers. And this is the most collaboration I've seen between Black booktubers since June.
What I will say is the change that I've seen happen within the last year to year and a half in booktube when it comes to Black creators is amazing. Like, we have all come out of the woodwork. People are collaborating. People are making friends. People are doing reading sprint videos with each other. People are doing read with me's and buddy reads and read alongs. And I mean, it's just phenomenal. And I feel like you don't necessarily maybe see the collaborations as highlighted as they have been since, BLM as they are this month. But I've been seeing a lot of like buddy reads and read with me's and, cute little things going on between other Black booktubers. But I feel like we have really stepped into our space and claimed it, because we didn't really have a space. We kind of had to like force it.
Yeah, we kind of told them. We kind of told them this year, like, so we're tired. So this is ours. You can come visit if you want to, but like, this is our space.
So I think that we're seeing the result of like stepping into our own and being like, nah, this is our money. We're going to lead it. We're going to do our own thing. And you know what? I think that the white booktubers have stepped back and have been like, absolutely, like, this is y'all's thing. Like, please lead.
I am enjoying it. I think, Lord knows if we jinxed it by giving this up praise, I'm really so mad.
I know. I thought about it as I was talking. I was like, watch some shit go down.
Watch, now that you gave praise, watch tomorrow. It's going to be some crap.
I spoke too soon.
Like, you probably should have waited until February 27th to give this praise.
Okay. But you know what? All I can speak for are the people that I know personally and that I've made relationships with, the Black booktubers that I'm, in contact with. I'll speak for them. Everybody else that I don't know can't speak for them. So I'm gonna speak for my my little circle and people I know. But I wanted to start this off by saying, what are some of the best books that you have read within the last year by
Legendborn.
I knew you were going to say Legendborn. You know what? I should have said besides Legendborn, because I don't want to talk about Legendborn anymore with you, Brittany. I really don't. I need us to move on. I need us to move on.
There's no moving on. We don't get to move on until I get another book. We do not get to move on until I get another book. They better just put me on the PR team at this point, because I'm like, listen, how long do I have to wait? Let's talk.
Oh my God. So for those that don't know, Brittany read Legendborn, a month or two ago, and now she's obsessed with it. And she says it's so much better than she thought. She listened to the audiobook. She said it was really, really good. And now every time I bring up, a book by a Black author, here comes Brittany talking about Legendborn.
She won't read it.
I will read it, y'all. I got the audiobook. I'm in the first chapter. It's just I have a whole list of other books in front of Legendborn that needs to be read, because I've been reading from the library, and that whole like due in 22 days thing gives me a lot of anxiety.
I can't even argue this with you, because
doesn't it just give you anxiety? Like every time I log on to my Libby app and it says 17 days left, 12 days left, 11 days. I'm like, I need to get to this book now. Especially if you can't renew it, because it's like 3 people wait behind.
I always try to my librarian even knows that when she because they bring the books out to you in like a little bag, basically, because you're not allowed to go in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so bad, my librarian will be like, I marked the ones that you can actually renew and the ones that are in high demand. And I was like,
wow.
She just knows.
So you prioritize those and try to read those quickly. Like even now some loans expired on some books that I didn't get to. And it's infuriating because there were like 2nd and 3rd books in a series. And I guess I was being very ambitious, and I checked out the entire series and only got to the first book. And then all of them expired. And then what really pisses me off is I'm talking about this one particular series. I'm not going to name it because this is about a Black authors, and this is not written by Black authors, so I won't give the book promo. But in this particular series, when I went to renew it, tell me how the second book is no longer being carried by my library.
What happened to the second? Didn't you just have the second book?
Yes, but when I hit renew loan, a message popped up and said, you cannot renew this loan as your library no longer carries this book. I was like, excuse me? So I read the first book, I renewed the 3rd book, went to renew the 2nd book so I could, keep reading it. It was like, play again. No, sorry. And I was just like, okay. So then I got mad and I just returned them all.
I mean,
screw it.
I have no words for that. Because I would be so mad. I'm like, why do you have this? I just checked this book out.
Yes.
Why?
But you have the first book. What? And you have the 3rd book.
Because they said that it was no longer available, I would have actually kept the book and finished reading.
I know. I tried, but it was like, this book is due back in 9 hours. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to stress myself out about this. I'm not. Goodness. I'm going to let it go. And you know what? One day I will finish that series. One day in the future.
I will give you another book other than Legendborn.
Thank God.
Because this book surprised me, because, this is not my genre. But the stars and the blackness between them was
Oh yes.
such a cute, beautiful book.
You usually hate romance.
And it wasn't actually like the way that the book is presented, you think it's about to be like this like intense love story. But if I could put any song to this book, I would put Teenage Love Affair. Because it's so sweet and it's just so teenager.
It is. It's a lot like it's a first, your first love type feel.
Yeah.
And it also has like family drama
Oh,
dynamic
I
stuff going on.
loved the relationship between her and her daddy in this book. Made me cry because I'm a thug like that.
Thug tears,
But
it's fine. I was just thinking about this book, and because I was going through all of my little Google Docs, because sometimes you just have these random Google Docs that you haven't visited for years,
yeah.
and I ran across one in particular about this book that I read by Claire Kahn, who
Wow.
writes. She writes young adult books, but she writes them about young Black girls. I think her name is Claire Kahn. I want to say that's her name. I'm going to be really mad if that's not her name. But she wrote this one book in particular. Hold on, let me pull it up because I'm really bad at remembering the names of authors. So authors and also books. So I'm pretty much just bad all around. But she wrote this one book that I remember that touched me so much that, well, first of all, it was one of the first books that came out during like when publishers finally started to actually publish books with Black people on the cover in YA. When like she was one of the first to kind of come out with her book. And this is how rare it was a couple years ago, to the point where I saw the book and I didn't even read the description. I just bought it immediately.
I mean, yeah, I feel like a lot of us have fallen victim to oh my God, the cover is absolutely gorgeous. And bye.
But this was because like I'd never seen it. Like this was in the beginning of that whole trend of what is now become a trend of like it being acceptable to publish books in young adult fiction with Black people on the cover. Like before it was like, oh, you can't do that. Like they're not going to sell. So she was like one of the first. So when I saw the cover, it's by Claire Kahn and it's called Let's Talk About Love. And it has this beautiful Black girl on the cover who is visibly Black. She doesn't look racially ambiguous or biracial or anything. She looks full Black and she has dark skin and she has this huge afro and she's gorgeous. And when I tell you, I
remember this.
I had such a spiritual experience when I saw this cover. I literally like cried. And then I bought the book immediately. And then I read it, and reading it lived up to the cover. And so I'm going through my Google Docs and I found like a little thing that I wrote after I read the book. I wrote this little paragraph about it because I was so moved by my experience. And I was just like, oh my God. But essentially, I want to recommend this book to anyone who hasn't read it yet. But it's called
It's still on my TBR. I haven't read it yet.
It's so good.
I heard that there's Ace Rep in it.
Yes. The main female protagonist, Alice, is Ace.
Oh, that would be a good one for the Black Challenge.
It would be perfect for the Black
Challenge.
to
write that down. Keep talking. I'm just going to write that down when we're talking.
And it's a romance, but it's such a cute one. And doesn't get on your nerves. But it's called Let's Talk About Love. And Claire Kahn, and Kahn is spelled Kann. I really do recommend it. But this book will always have a special place in my heart because, like I said, she was kind of leading the pack when it came to, it being okay to publish books in adult fiction with Black people on the cover, especially having a beautiful dark-skinned Black girl on the cover. Like I connected because I finally saw myself on the cover of books on the cover of a book where growing up I'd never seen it unless it was like, some book about like slavery or something. So I'm just being honest. So I was really, really just blown away. Yeah, it came out January of 2018.
I remember when it came out because the only reason that I did not purchase it from the store was because it's supposed to be a romance. And I was like, romance doesn't belong in my bookshelf.
It's cute. And I like that the male protagonist is Asian. Because that's also just very rare. You don't really see that either.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that too. But oh my gosh, this book will always have a special place in my heart just because of how I had that emotional reaction to it right away. And then I fell in love with female protagonists like Alice. So I found my little like blurb that I wrote, because sometimes I'll do that. Like I may not write a review on Goodreads, but sometimes after reading a book, I'll just jot down my thoughts really quick in like a Google document so I can revisit it if I ever, wonder what I thought about this book.
That's funny. I have notes in my I had a bullet journal, or normally what I used to do before I made the reading journal, I used to just write my little thoughts and stuff in my bullet journals.
Oh.
So if I pulled out my old bullet journals, there would be like little writings about books because, the last couple of years, especially because the last couple of years I've been very intentional about my reading, where like sometimes I would read fluff because like I needed a fluff moment. But for the most part, if I was reading books that wasn't a part of a series, it was just like, okay, I am going to read Black and like I'm going to read Black and I'm going to pray that this Black book hits my soul. And some of them really have in the past like 2 or 3 years and some of them haven't. And then plus this year, my goal is to read more adult Black books.
Me too.
Because last year it was mainly YA. So like this year, I want more adult fiction and historical fiction because I did find, excuse me, I did find a historical fiction one too that I look forward to reading. So it's just like, bring on the covers. You know what I really want to see?
What?
I want a romance cover that's not historical fiction because I think I've seen Beverly Jenkins do this on her covers. But what I need is a modern day romance where there is a tall, dark skin, like midnight skin Black man on the cover, and the girl in the story be just as dark as he is.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you mention it, you don't really see that.
No, the girl is always lighter. She's
well,
always
they
lighter.
do it where one of the partners is always lighter. So if the male is dark skinned, then the woman is lighter. Even if she may still be dark skinned, but she'll be like a lighter dark skin than him. And then if the man is light skinned, the woman is darker skinned. They do like a yin yang type thing all the time.
I mean, yeah, I know, but that's something I want to see. Oh, I have another book.
Do share.
I've talked about this book a bajillion times, and I'm going to keep preaching about it because I truly feel like it did not get the love that it deserved. And that is like the book that shocked me in the past 2 years. Good Luck, Girls. I keep talking.
Oh, that's right.
Because the sequel is coming out. The sequel is coming out either this month or next month, actually.
For the Good Luck Girls?
Sister Reckoning, yeah.
I mean,
because the way that the first book ends, it feels closed. Like there are some questions, but it doesn't feel like it has to continue.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it is continuing, I was like, oh.
Are you are you intrigued to see like where the author is going to take the story?
Yeah. The second book is called The Sisters of Reckoning. And it comes out in August. Oh, dang. It comes out in August. My bad, y'all.
When did you say?
I thought it came out in the next 2 months because, February, March, and April, we normally get a lot of Black books.
We do.
So I thought that was one of the lineups.
It's almost like they strategically do it. I'm sure they do.
Yeah. I'm trying to think because there's another book in my brain that I'm just trying to get. Oh, Kingdom of Souls. There we go.
Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of because Kingdom of Souls, before I say it, Reaper of Souls comes out February 18th. Okay, that's the book that I was thinking of. I was thinking of both of them. I just knew that the sequel to one of them came out in this month. Got it. Yeah. So I keep telling everybody The Good Luck Girls was such a good book. Obviously, there are some trigger warnings. I do suggest you look them up. I never do trigger warnings justice. But it's still such a good book. It was just one of those books where like I picked it up because the way that the cover looks, you kind of think that you're about to have a Black girl like Wild Wild West story.
It looks like that. It really does.
Yeah. So I was like, are we gonna have Black girl cowboys? Because listen,
that would have been lit. That would have been lit.
If anybody knows a book where there are Black girl cowboys, cowboys, whatever, let me know. Because
a Black girl Western.
Yes.
Can you imagine the amazing?
The same way that I want Black girl space pirates is the way that I want a Black girl Western.
Oh my gosh. I feel like somebody should write a fanfiction of Zenith with an all black cast.
I cannot believe you thought of Zenith.
That would give us both what we wanted.
Oh my gosh. But to be clear, like when I say like a Black girl Western, what I want the gender roles swapped. Like I want the men in the house churning butter.
Oh my God. It would be a matriarchal society in another dimension. In another dimension that was just like Earth, only it would be switched. So the women's role would be like the men, and the men's role would be like the women. Yes. Did we just give somebody a book idea?
You know what else I want? Because obviously you're gonna add some drama. I want the main female protagonist. I want her to have one of those like really intense, they used to hook up relationships with the sheriff, who's also a badass female.
Yes.
The main protagonist chick settled for her dude because she knew that his family was rich. Like I want all of it.
Look, we clearly need to be a part of Pitch Wars because we can really pitch some shit.
I have so many. I'm not a writer, but I have ideas. Listen, I have dreams of stories. I have journals where I write down all of my random ideas. So like if somebody wants to bring my ideas to life, like
all I'm saying is if you are listening right now or in the playback and you need a story idea, hit up Brittany. She will hook you up.
Like I have a whole Western thing because back when we used to get our hair done and stuff, like my mom used to sit me down. It was Texas Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yes.
Murder, She Wrote, Mathis, and what is that other one?
I'm not the one to ask.
Oh, I can't remember her name. I'll remember her name later. But basically, I got the Westerns down in my brain. So you want to give me a super chick one? Listen. I'm totally down for this. Next to space pirates, that's just the thing that I need next.
Ooh, space pirates.
Yeah, I want space pirates. And I want space pirates that like stay pirates even if they get a love interest, because a lot of media and stuff has a tendency to make it seem like when women fall in love, they can't function.
They do.
And it just really aggravates me. So if we're going to do that, you can either keep the love completely out of the story or like act like we can do more than one thing at once.
The story I want to see is that involves like space and Black people is a story about a Black woman who gets abducted by aliens. And when she's abducted, she finds out that there's another planet where Black people are worshipped as gods. And it turns out that her mother is like the goddess of all the gods. And when she was a baby, she was kidnapped and brought to Earth. And they just took her back home because her mother, the goddess, is about to pass down like the reign to her. Somebody right now. There we go.
You just mixed Hercules and Goddess in the Machine together.
That what just happened.
Yeah, that is exactly what just happened.
I don't want to write that story. I have enough stories that I'm writing. But if somebody else wants to help me out and write that, I would be very grateful.
Oh, you know what a good contemporary one would be?
What?
A good contemporary one would take like the idea of living single, where it's just a bunch, like it's all Black girls, we're all friends, we're all successful in our own rights, and we decide that we're all going to take a vacation to go to a K-pop concert. You know how like realistic
What?
that type of vacation thing is? Like that would be such a cute read.
That would be such a
Because,
little contemporary. I'm here for
yeah.
it. I'm here for it.
That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. I have plenty of ideas of like, cause that's just us being happy. Like, cause
It would
I
be
oh you go ahead.
no, I see it kind of being like what is that comedy where all the men get drunk and have this like weird adventure one night?
Hangover.
Hangover. It would be like Hangover, kind of, where they
See,
get in
I was
these
thinking
crazy
more of
hijinks.
Insecure.
Thinking more what?
Insecure, that episode where they went to Coachella.
Yes. That's perfect.
That's exactly what I'm imagining.
Although, didn't they kind of do that with Girls Trip, I guess?
Girls trip, but that's kind of like if you've ever gone on a girls trip, like you do foolishness like that. I mean, to be clear, I don't do the like string out on crazy drugs thing because like I'm not trying to die, but that is a girls trip to a T. If you're not having moments where you're laughing so hard you're crying when you're remembering your trip, like you did not trip right, because to this day, I can call my college girlfriends that I travel with all the time. And there have been moments on FaceTime where like we just could not breathe because we were talking about an incident that happened on one of our trips. And we were like just balled over on the floor crying because we're laughing so hard still.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I want books. I want books. I want books. I want books. Because Miss WOC Reader did a blog where it was like why I took Black trauma out of my vocabulary. I think that was the title of it.
Ooh.
And she made some good points where it was like not every book that mentions race or slavery, not all of them are racial trauma. And I was like, that's actually fact, because like in our everyday lives, sometimes we're hit with some things where it's like we do have to, like it is a race thing, but it doesn't define the whole story.
No.
See, like those books I'm totally down with reading. But like lately, because I think Wings of Ebony just came out.
Yeah.
By JL. And that's a book that I'm very excited to read. I'm just not in the space to read it right now because it deals with, look, ironically, it's set here in Houston, and it deals with like young Black kids and like drugs and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, there is a magical element to this, but I'm still a little scarred from the little bit of magical element we had from
Black Girl Unlimited.
So because I know that it's like true stuff with a magical element, I'm like, I'm not ready yet. I will come back to you. It's not that I don't want to read you. It's just that the last time I jumped into a book thinking that the magical realism was going to be stronger than what it was, I was so.
And that it's so funny that you bring up Black Girl Unlimited, because that was actually a book that I was going to bring up as one that I read in the last year that really affected me. Like I still think about that book at least once a week.
Me too. And I think about the worst scenes.
Oh no. I don't necessarily think about like the worst scenes every week, but I just think about like how much that book impacted me, and I didn't realize it. And I think when I first read it, I was so caught up in like I was in shock because I wasn't expecting it. I didn't read reviews about it. I read it. I just thought it was about this magical Black girl wizard. Like I took what was on the dust jacket literally, and like the blurb about the book. I didn't do research into it. I didn't read reviews. And honestly, when we read Black Girl Unlimited for Black Pros Book Club, no one was really reading it like that. Like nobody was really talking about it. And so there wasn't a lot of buzz.
We read last year.
What now?
That was the first book we read last year.
Yeah, we read it in January, and nobody was talking about it or anything, or in the first quarter, January, February, March. And so I think when I first finished it, I was in such shock because I was not mentally or emotionally prepared to go through that with Echo. Like the journey that she took on, that was so traumatic at points. From literally her conception, I was not prepared. And so
Nope. Oops,
I
sorry.
think I think when I finished it, I was still in such shock that I needed, like, the shock was all I could feel. The trauma, the traumatic moments were all I could think about. But then, as time has gone on, I think about everything else, and I think about her life and the fact that this is autobiographical. And I think about the author, and I think about the way it was written and how well it was written, because it was one of those books that, now that I look back, didn't disappoint me. And it actually, the content of the book way outweighed or outshined the cover. The cover is actually pretty unremarkable compared to what was within the book. We had these books that we were so excited for because the covers were so epic, and then the books themselves were so lackluster. And so I think about Black Girl Unlimited because I actually think it needs a better cover, because what was inside the book was just so far beyond.
I have to agree, because there are some people that still comment on that video. We made a playlist on Black Prose for it, but like, there are people that still comment on that discussion video, like, oh my gosh, I think I'm scared to read this book. And I was like, no, don't be afraid. Like, do look up the trigger warnings. There are a lot of trigger warnings in this book. Like,
pretty much almost every trauma that you can imagine she experiences.
Yeah, I think except death. I think that's the only one that we didn't experience.
Right. She lived.
But everything else that you can imagine, there's a trigger warning. But the book itself, it's like, at the end of the book, like, I still, like, you come out of the book feeling like anew.
Yeah, the book has really stayed with me. Like, I'm just like, it's a whole year later and I'm still thinking about it. I think about it at least once a week.
Yeah, I only thing I do is when I talk about it, I tell people, I'm like, listen, the book jacket downplays the heck out of the trigger warnings. And this is the first book I've ever read where I felt like there should have been like a whole page, like, stop. Yeah, the trigger warnings. This is the first book I ever read where I felt that. But I do think the message of the book is very important. It's very important.
I sound
like one of those YouTubers where I think this is a very important read. No,
stop it.
As a Black woman, I found certain aspects of that book extremely relatable, to the point where I kind of had to stop and ask myself, why was it so relatable? Because a lot of the trauma that she experienced, I've never experienced, but I could still relate to everything that she was going through. It was just a lot. But a year later, I'm still saying, yeah, read the book with another Black girl is what I recommend. Like, do not read this book by yourself, because there are going to be moments in the book where you kind of need to talk about it.
I agree. And the thing is, I'm so glad I did not listen to the audiobook, because I think I would have been physically sick at certain points.
I am so glad that was one of the books that I read. Because, wow, I can't imagine.
Can you imagine some of those sentences being spoken out loud? Hell no. Mm-mm. But yeah, I think about that. So that's one of the books that I would recommend. What's another one for you?
Yeah, let's see.
It's like I almost have to go back and like my Goodreads.
I need to pull out my Goodreads, because the last 2 years I was tracking all of the books that I read on Goodreads and in my planner, but I don't feel like going to get my planners from 2 years ago. So let's see. Another book that I remember is the Night Verse series. L.L. McKinney's
that's right.
Night Verse series.
I always forget that that's the name of the series.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people have an issue with L.L. McKinney, and like, I understand, but I don't follow L.L. McKinney, because like, that's one of the book series where I like the idea of the book series. It's Alice in Wonderland. It's not a retelling, it's a reimagining. Because everything that happens in the Alice in Wonderland stories has been happened, from what I gather, for forever ago. And so the story that's happening, it's like, she's a Black chick who fights nightmares, which are the physical manifestations of the fear and the trauma that people are experiencing in the real world.
So
So,
intense.
you
So
know,
intense.
like in my mind, it would also make a really good manga, which is probably why I'm enjoying it so much. Because I know the third book comes out this year. I think that's the last book in the series. Honestly, not really sure nowadays because I feel like a lot of times we think like, oh, a book is over, and then we turn around and we're like, oh no, this book's got 4 more.
I
So
know it keeps happening.
yeah, I'm just like, I don't. Yo, I know
What?
this is Black History Month,
What?
but I just want to talk about that DNF from last year again
What?
because
What are you
that is an
talking?
example of a pretty cover and a bad story.
Wait, what DNF? Which one?
Daughters of Nuri.
I knew you were going to say that, and I was really hoping that it wouldn't come up in this live.
We can ignore it then. Just pretend I never said
I
it.
was like, I don't want to talk about that book. I just want to talk about books that were good. I'm sorry.
I try not to laugh by the way that you said that.
I'm so sorry. I just want to talk about books that were good and
I
that
just
we
want to talk about
liked.
books that were good.
I
Ooh,
don't want to be mad. I don't want
how
to be
about
upset.
so okay. I started reading Ray Bear, I think, in like November.
Oh, how are you liking it? It's gotten great reviews.
Yeah, I had to pause. So now I'm back to reading it because, I just have time now. But I like held off on reading Ray Bear during the summer because it was one of the books that was heavily pushed when the fake allies wanted to act like they were inclusive.
Oh
And,
no.
at that point, it was getting good reviews, but it was getting good reviews by everyone. And I
It
was like,
was.
okay, there's a lot of pressure on this book. Let me forget about the book for a while and then come back. Because, my expectations for the book will be way more realistic when I forget that the entire of BookTube loved it.
Right.
So
That's
I'm
so
back to
true.
reading it now because I was really like, that's too much pressure.
It's a
That's
lot
too
of
much
pressure.
pressure on a book. It's
A
like,
lot of
what if it's
pressure.
bad? I can't say anything, but what if it's bad? And I've been trying to avoid this one book, but I can't help it. And therefore, we have to throw Tochi into this mix because War Girls is still a book that I love. I wasn't that big of a fan of the sequel. But the
Really?
first book, I think the second book it's so relatable to the times of now
Yeah.
that it was just like, dang, they still doing this even in the future.
Okay, I see what you're saying. It's kind of like, damn, nothing's changed. It's a shame.
Yeah, just like crap. I mean, it's more futuristic. That's cool. But like, dang, we still doing this?
So what you're trying to say is that it just brought a crushing sense of hopelessness.
It kind of did. I don't know. I think that might be a duology. I have to look, but I forgot.
Okay.
The way that it ended, I was like, okay, I'm okay with this. But like the first book, also I like war books a
You
lot.
do. You do.
So the first book is heavily like war,
Yeah.
mechs and war. And
That's
so
like right up your alley.
it is. And he writes it really well. So I was just like, okay, this is gonna work for us. This is gonna work because this is so cute. But it was all right. It
Yeah.
wasn't something that I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, but it was okay.
For me, the next book I want to recommend is a romance. And it's written by Millie Belizaire, and she is a Black romance author who I love. I haven't read a lot of her books because her books are very deep. Like, you don't think that they're deep, and then you start reading them, and then you feel like you have been gutted, cut open, and sewn back together by the time it's over. And you're happy, but it's just like a lot. But the book specifically that I'm thinking of recommending to y'all is called The Garden of Eden, and
Mm.
it's a standalone, which is very exciting because that usually doesn't happen. But it's a standalone, and it's about this girl named Eden, and she's an R&B superstar, but she's going through a rough patch. Like, she's not feeling passionate about her music right now. And then her love interest is a Black man named Andrew, who is a pastor, but he doesn't believe in God.
What?
And so
Sorry.
So they both have a lot of pressure. Andrew obviously is being pressured to hold up something that he doesn't believe in. And Eden is not into her music, but she's being pressured to like come out with this big hit and this and that and this. And so on the night of her concert in New Orleans, she sneaks out after an after party and she sees Andrew because he's just wandering. He's loitering outside in his car and she thinks that he is her driver. So she gets in his car and she's like world famous. So in this world, she's kind of like their Beyonce kind of thing. That's her level of fame. And so she's very famous, but he is like, I've never heard of you. I don't care who you are. I'm not your driver. You need to get out of my car. Like, girl, I don't know. And she's just like, I'm famous. Like, I can't just be out here. Like, you have to take me home. And he's like, I don't care. You need to get out. Like, I'm not a driver. So that's how they meet. And it's kind of like the beginning of their journey. And it's like they don't like each other at first. He is dealing with his own stuff. She's dealing with her own stuff. But they keep coming back to each other. And they both are dealing with a lot. So it's one of those stories where it seems light on the surface, but underneath is a huge like rest of the iceberg. And then there's a shark behind the iceberg. Like there's just a lot going on underneath the surface of the story. You find out that they're dealing with a lot of real stuff, but it's very relatable in the sense of it's really just two millennials trying to figure life out when they're faced with so much pressure to be great, you know? But oh my gosh, this story has stayed with me, and I read a lot of books, and usually like books don't stay with me like that. Like I don't really think about them past, maybe like a month or two, maybe like a week, maybe even a day. So when I think about something, I read this book last year in February or January, and I still think about it, but I'd never really talked about it much on my channel. So I wanted to give it some shine on this live because I highly, highly recommend it. I think it was so well written and it's so fascinating to like watching their relationship develop because it's so real. Like they have these real ass conversations and I appreciate that. So yes, highly recommend The Garden of Eden. Of course, you get the biblical reference there, but it's good.
I mean, I'm just laughing at the whole, he's a pastor, but like, he doesn't actually believe in God. Like, what are you here for, sir? What are you here for?
Well, here's the thing. As someone who grew up in the faith, there are a lot of pastors that don't believe in God. Church is a big business.
Yeah, I know.
And if you can become a good church pastor, you could become a millionaire. You can have your own jet. You can have your own mansion. A lot of these men don't really believe in God. It's a business. It's a business to them. They're buying their lifestyles with your tithes.
Oh gosh, that is a topic for another day. Whoa.
Did I lie?
Nope. Another book that I read in the past 2 years that I was absolutely just gushing over. I always have to like imagine my bookshelves when I
Sometimes I go out to my bookshelves and just look at them and like, oh yeah,
I would go downstairs just to do that, but I don't even feel like going downstairs. Oh, okay. So obviously, we have to represent the Afro Latina as well, and that is the Queen Elizabeth Acevedo.
I was waiting for her to come up in this
because I feel like she deserves her own section.
We stand so hard for this one.
We stand. If you don't know, now you know. Like
we always talk about her
because you know what's funny?
What?
I specifically remember picking up Poet X because you remember the cover of Poet X.
Mm-hmm.
It's the girl with the big fro.
Yes.
I found the artist that designed her cover. And so I followed the artist and then I saw that and it was like, yeah, like I was given the honor of designing this book cover. Like the book is really good. Y'all should go check it out. And I was like, all right. And then I get the book and I realize it's written in slam poetry. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do slam poetry.
And yet it was so amazing.
And then my friend was like, listen to it on audiobook. Do not read it first. Listen to it on audiobook. And I felt like I was like transformed. I would sit in my car at work.
And just listen, right?
And try to finish the section
it was like,
I walked inside.
Yes. It's like, take me away, please.
Oh, it was so good. And then obviously she came out with Fire on High next.
Oh my gosh, that is actually, I think, my personal favorite. That is like maybe clap when you land edges it out a teeny tiny
my
bit.
favorite. Shoot.
I just love the relationship between her and her grandma and baby girl. Like, family dynamics always get me. Okay, if there's like a warm and fuzzy family dynamic, like I'm there. You have my heart.
Nope.
You have
To
me.
this day, my number one Elizabeth Acevedo book is Poet X.
Really?
And it's solely because I listened to it via audiobook. There's so much passion when she reads slam poetry that I love. But obviously, it's in order of the way that they came out. Poet X with Fire on High, and then Clap When You Land. And the sad thing is, they're all still 5-star reads. So,
right. It's like tough trying to decide which one's your favorite.
Like, somebody asked me which one should they read first, I'd probably say With Fire on High.
You think? I think they should be read in order of publication, personally.
Oh, see, I would say With Fire on High because there were certain parts of With Fire on High that kind of sounded poetic.
Okay.
You kind of get a mix of both of her styles where she can write straight poem books or she can write like straight regular books. Also, she has another poetry book out that I got. I found it online and I was like, I just saw her name on it and I bought it.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Hold on.
This is very intriguing.
Yeah. Listen, I saw that the author's name was Elizabeth, and I was like, I'll buy it.
I'm a little shook by this.
Yeah, it's like, I should have these type of things already up here when I say this. I hate that when I'm typing in on Goodreads, I can type in Elizabeth and then I have to type in her whole last name just to come up. Okay, it's called Beast Girl and Other Origin Myths. It came out in 2016. It's a really small book, but
I think this book came out before like her career really took off.
This came out before Poet X.
Yeah, it did. It was her first book.
It's a collection of folkloric poems centered on the historical, mythological, gendered, and geographic experiences of a first-generation American woman.
I love the cover.
Yeah.
It's giving me so much. But yeah, I don't think... I feel sad because I'll check her website periodically and I don't see anything upcoming for her.
I know.
And I'm just like, what are we going to do?
It's like, I know you live in life and
what are we going to do?
All that stuff, but like you've given me a book every year for the past 3 years.
You've spoiled me. I've been spoiled by riches. I need to continue.
They're all standalones, first of all. You've given me 3 beautiful standalones.
I think that's honestly why one of the reasons I stand her so hard is because she does write standalone.
Yeah.
It's like, thank God.
Like everybody else is sequels. And I mean, I've seen some duologies lately, but like for the most part, everybody's doing 3 and 4 book deals. And I'm like, the fact that you gave us all of that in one book.
And we don't feel like we need more. We're happy. Yeah.
We're satisfied.
We're like, yes, I'm good. Nobody does that.
Thank you so much.
Right?
It's like, I'll go in whatever language you want me to go in. Like, I just want to read this.
Okay, so I think I had a book I wanted to talk about. Another book that we read for book club.
Oh my gosh, I know which one it is.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
What do you think it is?
My Sister, the Serial Killer.
Oh, it's not. See?
Oh, I'm shocked.
Are you shook now?
I'm shocked because now I'm trying to think like, what other book was worthy?
But now that you bring it up, no, see, My Sister, the Serial Killer, now that I look back, was very enjoyable because we had so much to say about it. But I was so frustrated by the characters, which is always a sign of good writing, right? When the characters become so real to you that it's almost like they're your neighbors that you're like peeping out the window at and getting mad at their actions.
Yeah, I think that's why I was giving it credit because I was like, we were actually yelling at the sister at one point.
We were like, girl, what are these life choices? But anyways, no, not that book. a book that, you know, we had some mixed feelings on, but now that I look back, I find out that I actually really liked it, is Behold the Dreamers by Mbolo and Bew. And I did. I'm not going to lie. And I don't know if it's because I'm an immigrant as well, and I have that immigrant experience, and like the culture that I come from is so similar to theirs. I mean, I'm not Cameroonian, but you know, and being able to understand that dream that a father has for his family, and you know, wanting to come to America and stuff, it reminds me a lot of my dad. I mean, my dad's not batshit crazy like what's his face in the book, but I really connected to the story in a way because I felt I could relate to it so much, and I feel like I would have enjoyed it more if it had less of the Edwards family.
Yes.
They kind of ruined it for me, but I understand why they were there, because maybe the author didn't think that the book would have been published without having like a white family to juxtapose against the Jonga's immigrant experience, which I feel like maybe that was the case back in 2016, or even, okay, so if the book came out in 2016, he was probably shopping the book and writing it for, you know, years before that, 2 or 3 years, you know, maybe possibly even more before that. And maybe the way the publishing industry was at that time, she wouldn't have been able to get the book published if it didn't have some sort of white gaze within it. So I'm able to look at it from like a writing perspective, a publishing, like from different perspectives, and be like, okay, as a writer and as a reader, I feel the story would have been better without the Edwards family. And if we had just focused on the Jongas and their immigrant experience and built a whole story out of that, that would have been amazing. We could have found some conflicts. We could have found some great things. But as a writer and someone who wants to hopefully one day be published by one of the big publishers, maybe, hopefully, cross my fingers, I can kind of see how in that time, in that landscape, you know, the way the publishing industry was, writing Black books was not a thing. I mean, it's kind of still not, but it's kind of is now. But I can see maybe where she was like, I don't know if my book is published if I don't have, you know, this white family as a huge part of the story. They were completely unnecessary, but, you know, maybe that's what her publisher felt that she was needed. Maybe editors and whatever were like, we need more of the Edwards. We need you to, you know, play them up a little bit more. So I do feel that too, from, you know, from a perspective of someone who hopes to one day be in that position, hopefully not having those issues. But I don't know, but I really liked it now that I think back on it. I liked it, I think, because I listened to the audiobook and my friend was reading it. And that was very comforting. He did a great job, but also, I don't know, I just really related to it. I think because of my life experience. Yeah. I could understand it. The ending, though, the ending pissed me off. I'm not even going to lie. The abuse that came out of nowhere. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I'm so sorry. Spoiler alert. I won't say anything else because I don't want to spoil it. But I will just say the ending.
The ending did not fit the rest of the story. We will just put it that way.
The ending gave me Things Fall Apart vibes. If you've ever read Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, it's one of my favorite books of all time. But the first time you read it, the ending kind of guts you, where you kind of are just like, wow, so that's how it ends, huh? That's kind of how I felt when I finished this book. Getting major things fall apart, or like where you just sit there, like where I literally kept listening, and then it was like, you have listened to audio, you know, production. I'm like, wait, it's over.
Yeah,
that's how it ends.
That's facts. That is facts. Yep.
Brittany's being quiet. She did not like this book.
No, we all know I did not. I did not like this book at all. But I respect the book. I felt like it had a lot of topics that were worthy of discussion. I
cannot with this PR answer. This book, you know, was really important. It said some important things.
Good conversations about immigration, a good conversation about African versus African American. It gave us a lot of fantastic discussion topics. I
think you hated Mr. Jonga. What was his name again? I can't remember his first name.
He wasn't the one that I hated.
Jende.
I did not hate Jende at all.
Who was it that you hated?
Hated Mr. Edwards and Mrs. Edwards.
Really? Well, I told you they ruined it. Like,
they really took me out of the story. It was like, I know this is doomed to fail.
Well, for me, the Edwards were just so pointless, you know? Like, I understand it from like a, oh God, what is the word I'm looking for? From like, if I'm trying to be objective and I'm just like, okay, we're going to write a story about an immigrant family in America. Ooh, what a perfect foil if we have this waspy white family who's rich and juxtaposed. Yeah, okay, great. That's going to be great literary work. Let's do it. Right? From an objectionable. What is the word I am looking
for? I don't even know.
From an outsider's view, right? It sounds good. It sounds like a great book report that you could have given in like 9th grade. Like, okay, great. What is the plot device? Who were the foils? It sounds good on paper, but when you actually have to read it, I was literally like rolling my eyes through all the chapters with Edwards. I was like, I don't care about them. I don't care what happens to them. I cared about the little boy. I felt bad for the little boy. Other than that, I was just like, why am I here? Why are we here? Why are any of us here? We all know how this is gonna end. Like,
yeah.
But I still really like the book. I recommend you read it.
OhSheReads really liked the book, okay? That's what matters. OhSheReads really liked the book.
Behold the Dreamers, okay? Go read it. Form your own opinion. You may or may not skim through the Edwards chapters. It's fine.
Please form your own opinions, which means you read it, and that's what we need. Also, shout out to Luxurious Blue.
Hey, Shane.
Have not heard from you in forever. I've been seeing you post content.
Yes.
Haven't heard from you in forever. So glad that you graced us with your presence.
I know. We missed you, Shane. It's good to see you.
So I have 2 authors that I think
here we go.
Mention.
Here we go.
One, Jason A. Reynolds.
Yes! My husband in my head, Jason A. Reynolds.
Jason, Justin. We're going to talk about Justin and Jason.
Oh, okay.
So if you notice, how do I describe him without sounding like a thirst bucket?
Okay, so Jason Reynolds is a beautiful writer.
That's why I said I don't know how to do
I'm already failing at this. No, but honestly, y'all, seriously, he is amazing. He is so
always
gifted.
On the bestseller list. Always.
He's so gifted. He is so innovative. And the thing is, I'm so glad he's finally getting the shine that he deserves because he has been doing this for so long. He has so many books, like so many books. A lot of them are middle grade. They're so great. I mean, he's won the NAACP Image Award for outstanding literary.
One book that they stopped putting the little medals on it because it covers the whole book.
He's just great, guys. I highly recommend his books.
His voice is fantastic as well.
There are a lot of them, so it's kind of like you will find something to read that interests you because there's so many.
Type his name into the Googles and just read the synopsis and you'll find one that fits you. I promise. Like, he's one that I think deserves more conversation. I mean, he's getting a lot more conversation now, but like he's been here for so long.
Oh, I love him.
Like, finally getting the flowers that you deserve while you're alive. But I can't talk about him for a super long time because again,
let's continue. Okay.
The thirst.
Look, I'm shameless.
And beautiful black men as well, and
I love him. I really do love him. Like I feel like a proud fan, and I usually don't call myself a fan of people, but I feel like
you've done it like 3 times on this live.
A stan and a fan are different. I'm happy to stan. I usually don't fan. But yeah, I'm happy to be a fan of him because I don't know. I'm just really proud of him. It's weird. It's a weird thing to say, but I'm very proud of him because I've been reading his books for a long time, seeing his books for a long time, and nobody really talked about him. So I'm glad that he's getting that spotlight now. Also, I really enjoy his social media presence. Like, he does so many great things on social media. I'm like,
did you guys catch that interview with Melanated Reader on Instagram?
So good.
I told her, I was like, listen, I'm so proud of you. But the way that I'm thirsting of jealousy right now is unreal. Like, imagine just being on your IG and being on your IG live, and the person that you're about to talk to pops up and it's him.
Yeah, I couldn't have done that live. Props to her. I would have been sweating. I would have been sweating.
I'd have had to wear black so you couldn't see like the.
I would have been so nervous. I would have been like, "What do I say? What do I do? What book do I talk about?
Oh
no! Where am I? What's going on?" No, but great. Highly recommend his books.
Highly.
Moving on.
The live was an interview. So if you go to Melanated Reader on IG, first of all, Melanated Reader on IG is phenomenal and content is always A1.
Yes, I really enjoy her a lot.
But it was an interview. He didn't just pop up. It's just that I didn't know that she was interviewing him. So when she went live, I clicked in because, you know, like to show my support. And then she was like, we have a special guest, and then clicked the button and he showed up. I was like, oh.
Not that ha. Oh my God. I can see Brittany's heart.
I was really just like, I'll put her on. I'm gonna put her in the background while I draw, and I just kind of stopped drawing. And I was like, no, he's gonna talk. Okay, I'm gonna listen.
I didn't even stay. I was like, I'm not gonna do this to myself. I'm going to watch the playback.
I clicked off after a while because I realized I wasn't listening, and I was like, he deserves people to listen.
That's terrible, Brittany. It's terrible.
Okay, I'm changing to the next Black male author.
Wait, I just want to talk about 3 books of his that I really recommend.
Oh, that's good.
The first one is the Stamped from the Beginning remix that he did with collaboration with Ibram X. Kendi, who is the actual author of the, you know, original and adult version of Stamped from the Beginning. But he did like a remix kids version, which I think is amazing.
Yep. Thought it was fantastic.
And then I also really recommend Long Way Down. So I think Long Way Down is a great place to start. That is the book that I think he's most known for right now, besides the Stamped from the Beginning remix thingy that he did with Ibram X. Kendi. So those 2 are really good. Start there.
Yeah.
I mean, trigger warning with Long Way Down for violence. Trying to think what else. I think gun violence is the biggest one. I can't really think of anything. It was a really long time ago when I read that book. It came out in like 2017, y'all. It came out in 2017.
Shane got mad jokes. Is Tochi next? Actually,
stop.
I already gave Tochi his flowers.
You missed it.
I was actually talking about Justin A. Reynolds. Because Justin A. Reynolds is the author of Opposite of Always.
Oh my gosh, which is so cute. When is his next one coming out?
His next one came out already. It came out last year, if I'm not mistaken.
It already did?
Early Departures. Oh, because he's also the author for the new Miles Morales books that are coming out. He's the author that's going to be behind that. But Early Departure came out September 22 of last year. And I just wanted to shout him out because he's so far, like, his books are contemporary, and I don't know a lot of Black men writing contemporary and getting any type of, so I actually really enjoyed Opposite of Always. Like, I loved how just normal it was.
So normal. I love the family dynamic, the normal Black family.
Yeah, it was just like, thank you.
With 2 parents who love each other.
Who are mushy and gushy and corny. It had a love interest named Katie, and she was Black, because we can have those names too. It was all types of refreshing things in Opposite of Always. So see, I shouted out 2 different Black male authors, and that covered the challenge.
It does cover a challenge.
It covers a challenge. I'm over here trying to bless people's lives with information.
And for those that are confused, we're talking about the reading challenge the Black Prose Club is doing all year long. If you're confused about what the challenges are, we do have a video on our channel Black Club here on YouTube that you can go check out. The challenges, essentially, it is a call to arms to just read more diversely within the African diaspora, diversify your reading within the authors that are available. There's so many different genres to read from, different types of Black books being written, different types of stories. So we just came up with 10 challenges just to spice things up. And it's going all year long until December.
I have 2 more authors. Are you ready? Because both of these authors always give a lot of conversation.
I'm ready.
Okay. Do you want the romance author first, or do you want the other author first?
The romance author.
Okay, so I'm going to specifically shout out this one series because it has shook BookTube to a T, and it's about 3 Black sisters.
Oh my God.
So I'm going to have to shout out the Brown Sisters series. And before somebody asks, not for the romance, because like, listen, I don't care. But wow. I will shout out the sisterhood in those stories.
Okay.
Depict 3 Black girls who are unique in their own right, but they're sisters. It was such a relatable sister relationship. Those 3 are me and my 2 sisters to a T. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy, especially how each sibling acts differently based on their position in the family. It's that part alone, kudos. And then from what I heard, the representation for Chloe's disability was A1. I heard this from other people who can definitely say yes or no. So I can't say that I knew what it was, but they said it was great. And then the second book, I was triggered because, you know, I'm a hardworking scientist and I just feel like I don't have to give up my career to get a man. So there was that. But well, I will shout out
your microphone is crackling a little bit. I don't know if they're hearing it on their.
Oh, I don't know.
It's me. Y'all let us know in the comments.
I must say, I'm hearing crackling from you now that you said it.
What's going on?
Oh no.
Oh.
I can still hear you, but yeah, I'm hearing the crackling noise.
Oh, PR should really get it together one of these days.
You almost sound like an alien, and it sounds kind of cool.
Oh. Yeah, let us know in the comments what the sound situation is like on your.
Yes, please. Okay, so I did my little romance shout out. Now, this particular author, we need to continue to give her flowers because every book that she writes, she leaves us shooketh. And that is Tiffany D. Jackson.
Yes.
Because
I almost wanted to be like, my girlfriend.
You say that one more time, your voice just went right out.
Oh, did you hear me?
No, what did you say?
I said, look at my girl Tiffany like we're friends.
Oh, wow. Sometimes I want to write Tiffany and be like, sis, I cried again. Also, the comments are saying that it's off and on and sometimes it's crackly. It's just, you know, we go live and we always have tech issues.
And they usually happen when we're like well into the live.
Yeah, we're well into this live and now we're starting to have crackling and all this other stuff. So that's funny. Yeah, now all I hear when you speak is crackling. Dang, internet. Well, oh, you're muted now. Muted now. Well, I guess we're going to like make up some things to talk about until she comes back because she's gone. So yeah. Anyways, like I was saying, Tiffany D. Jackson. I'm trying to think. So Allegedly Always is a book that's recommended when we talk about Tiffany D. Jackson. But I think to this day, the one that still shook me all the way through my core is Monday's Not Coming. I think to this day, I will always be shook from that freaking book. We're going to see if she's going to come back or not, because that is hilarious. It's like, welcome to OhSheReads. This is Melanin Eclectic, currently taking over your ones and twos. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. So yeah, what books are you guys reading celebrating Black History? Are you back? Oh, look, she's back.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I was just making jokes. I was like, it's pretty. I was like, welcome to OhSheReads. This is Melanin Eclectic taking over the ones and twos.
Is it still crackling when I talk?
No, it sounds way better now.
I don't know what is going on. It's like StreamYard, hits these snags after a certain point, and it only irritates me because when YouTube was still using Google to do lives, we never had YouTube.
Facts.
And now YouTube wants us to use their direct streaming, but their direct streaming is trash.
Right. But yes, I'll catch you up. I told them that I know a lot of people talk about allegedly when they talk about Tiffany D. Jackson. And I said, but the one that I will always talk about is Monday's Not Coming. Something about that, like, I don't know if I was the only one, but I was like ugly crying, like snotting when I was reading the end of this book. Like and the worst part was I was not at home when I finished the end of this book.
Really?
And that wasn't my first Tiffany D. Jackson. I was not new to the game. Like, I knew how she does us. And I was listening to it, and I guess I didn't realize I had made it to the end of the book at work. And I just remember closing my cubicle door and like trying to sob quietly.
That's so sad.
Like, I just had to take myself to the bathroom because I was like, whoa, I was not expecting this. Oh my gosh. Okay, Brittany, you're at work. Get it together. If you've never read Monday's Not Coming, I highly recommend it. She did such a phenomenal job. Yes, Erin, I agree. I was totally traumatized, but like, it was so amazing. Basically, the premise of the book is that the main character's friend, whose name is Monday, disappears. And it's the way the book's written, she's the only one who cares that Monday's not here. And so you read the book and you're wondering, like, what the heck happened to Monday and why is nobody caring? And then Tiffany D. Jackson reminds you of why. And you're just sitting there like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
After that, I read like a bunch of after that book, that's what started making me read the Disney books that I read, where it's like, what if something didn't happen in this Disney story? I started reading those books after this because I needed something to fluff me back out.
To say, you gotta load on something light and fluffy after that.
It was a lot. Oh, and I also asked them what books they were reading right now too. I didn't know if I was going to be by myself.
Let's see.
Man, that's so
Bethany?
true. Yeah, Bethany says, I'll be reading Sula and Patsy by Nicole Dennis Ben. Hopefully more, but I've been reading too slowly lately. There's no such thing as too slowly. Like,
I agree. Like,
BookTube makes us feel like we have to read at a certain speed, but there is no such thing as too slowly. Because I used to read like 7 or 8 books a month, and that was like my regular. And then sometimes I'd be like, I read 12 books this month. I don't know how I was doing that with the full-time job and trying to have a social life. No idea. But now I'm lucky to read 3 or 4 because I've just finished 1 book. But that was only because today I was just in a mood. So I listened to an audiobook the whole time I was working today. And lately, I have not been in that kind of mood. Lately, I want to watch fluff on TV while I work. So,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. But no, I've been reading a lot recently just because I've really gotten back into using my library to read versus buying books.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of takes me back to my childhood where the library made it easy for me to read a lot of books in a very short amount of time. So
yeah, I mean, I
I've
got
been
a
reading a
buttload of
lot.
books for my birthday, so probably won't be going to the library for a while.
Okay, so Aaron says I'm reading Love in Color by Bolu Babalala and Black Water Rising by Attica Locke. Nice. I heard
Ooh.
about that Love in Color book. I follow Bolu on Instagram, so I remember when she got her book deal and it was really exciting and all that good stuff. So I'm curious. I think when it finally becomes available at my library, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'm actually adding both of these books to my TBR as we speak because, yeah, I haven't heard of either one.
So I want to wrap things up because we have been on here for about an hour and a half, almost an hour and a half. But I wanted us to talk about the books that are coming out this year that we are the most excited for and looking forward to, and then we're gonna wrap things up.
Okay. Wow.
If
That's
any.
a lot of black books. You start first. My list is intense.
Is it
Like I think I have at least 15 to 20 and they're all black books.
15 to 20? What the heck?
I mean, I have to look, but yeah, I have at least 10 that I can do right off the back right now.
Good grief. Okay, what your most anticipated, please.
Okay, so my most anticipated would be Remote Control by Nnedi Okorafor.
Okay.
Reaper of Souls by Rena Barron.
Okay.
Man, trying to decide who gets these top 3 spots is hard.
That is really hard.
And I'm literally going in my head right now, thinking like, okay, which ones? Oh, what is the name of the Sisters of Reckoning?
Oh,
That's the
yes,
Good Luck
yes,
Girls number
yes, yes.
2.
Yes.
The Island Queen by Vanessa Riley. That's a historical fiction.
Okay.
And Bloodlight Magic is in my top 5 as well because I feel like I've been watching Lizelle process through this to the point where it's almost like I was there. So I just
doesn't it feel like a part of you at this point?
It does. Like after meeting her and then hearing her talk about it and then watching her go through the process, I was like, yeah, I need to read the book now. Thanks. Like I'm already watching her videos where she's editing and doing the edits for book 2 already.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like, okay, can I have book 1 now though?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah. Okay, I can give mine. I'm really looking forward to some Beginnings, a Little Women remix by Bethany C. Morrow.
Oh yeah.
Which is a remix of one of my favorite books, if not my all-time favorite book, Little Women, with Black family this time, 4 Black sisters. I mean, I feel like that is literally my dream. Another book that I'm looking forward to it, but I'm just intrigued because it was pushed back. It was supposed to come out in 2020 and it was pushed back, is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna.
Yeah, that's another good one.
It was one of my highly anticipated books for 2020, and then it was pushed back because she's a debut author and she was really nervous about coming out during the pandemic.
She came out right at the beginning too.
Right. And she wanted to give the book every opportunity and every chance, which I completely understand. So I'm intrigued. I don't want to put it on my list, but let's just have an honorable mention. But definitely the sequel to A Song Below Water, which is A Chorus Rises, another Bethany C. Morrow novel. So she's on my list twice. And then another book that I'm looking forward to, it's not a book that I'm looking forward to coming out, It's a book that I'm looking forward to reading that has already come out, and that is the Mariah Carey biography.
Oh.
I literally may have to create a new Amazon account just so I get a free Audible trial, just so I can get the audiobook, because it's only available on Audible, and Mariah reads it to us, and you can't get the audiobook anywhere else. So I might have to basically to get this audiobook. I'm telling you here first.
Okay. Can I do some honorable mention Black books that people could look at?
Yes.
Oh, well, we should rephrase. The Gilded Ones actually comes out this year. Like last year, it was supposed to come out, but it got pushed back to 2021. So this year, it's actually releasing. I got the Owlcrate version of it last year, and I purposely waited to read it around its release
Yeah, it
time.
comes out.
Yeah.
It comes out February 9th.
It comes out next week. Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
need to put that book on the books to read. Some other Black books you might enjoy. Witches Steeped in Gold by, is it Shannon
Look,
Smart?
I'm calling it now. Y'all won't be disappointed.
Shh, stop
Continue
it.
on.
Sorrowland by Rivers Solomon.
That cover is too good.
Yes. Hurricane Summer by Asha Bromfield.
I love how you just continued on.
Listen, I'm ignoring you because you're over here speaking bad things in people's lives. Excuse me while
I getting successful in terms of sales and numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't live up to the cover.
I'm just trying to shout out Black books that are coming out in the next couple of months so people can get their coins together.
I just want to keep my
That's all I'm doing.
low, so I won't be disappointed.
Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by Joya Goffney. Yeah, the title of that made me cackle.
That's funny.
Where the Rhythm Takes You by Sarah Das.
Ooh.
Off the Record by Cameron Garrett. Bacchanal by Veronica Henry. Simone Breaks All the Rules by Debbie Regard. Ace of Spades by Firida. Oh my gosh, I can never say this last name. Firida Abike. I'm just gonna say Ace of Spades. I'm not about to jack up that name. I'm not doing it.
I feel that.
Yeah, because that name is beautiful and I refuse to be the person to mess it up. And then the last one that I'm gonna talk about, the last one that I'm gonna mention, is A Psalm of Storms and Silence by Roseanne A. Brown. That should get you at least till July.
Right.
And those are all Black books by Black authors, and they are in all of the categories. I think I put one in every category, including adult. There's historical fiction in there, romance, contemporary, fantasy, adult fantasy, and YA fantasy. So I just covered all of that. What up, Ashley?
What up? Wow, you went through a whole list.
I told you I have a list because I was very intentional this year where I wanted to ensure that there was no way that I was about to encourage people to read Blackity Blackity Black and then I wasn't making sure that I was going to do the same thing. So I made a whole separate list where I was like, these books, my goal is to review every single one of them. That is my goal. I'm not saying that I'm going to actually complete that goal in 2021, but my goal is to review more on my channel. So I'm like, let me review them because,
that's going to be intense.
Black. I mean, there's no due date on this.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, we hope you enjoyed our gushing about Black books in honor of Black History Month. It was great coming and sit down and chat with y'all.
Yes, it was really fun.
Forget, this Saturday, though. This is your panel, right?
Yes, this is my panel.
Okay, so shout your stuff out, bro.
I don't know. I like when other people shout it out. But essentially, thank you. Go ahead.
Let me get my announcer voice on. Coming to you live from Black Prose, Saturday, February 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the unsung booktubers you should know about. Come join us as we discuss with 3 wonderful booktuber panelists about Black booktubers who might be new to you, but they've been around long enough to pave the way for all of us. Also, we get to discuss some new booktubers as well that you might be interested in. Was that good enough?
It was amazing. It's going to be on Black Prose Club's YouTube channel. I will definitely talk about it in a more formal video on my channel that should be dropping like Thursday, I think, tentatively right now, Thursday. So we're really excited about the Black Book Summit this month. It's going to be amazing. There's a panel every Saturday this month. So many great creators are a part of this. We are going to be talking so many cool, and interesting topics. And yeah, it's going to be a great time. 2 p.m. every Saturday. And we start off with my panel on Saturday, like she just said.
Also, I would like to point out that the Bookish Realm said that she is enjoying Witches Steeped in Gold so far, but she's not done. Okay.
Thank God. I was so scared.
We are not going to get juked by a pretty cover. It's so far it's good. I'm hoping. I'm scared.
I was terrified.
But yes, thank you for the verification. I appreciate that, Ashley.
Thank God. But yes, okay. So that's it for tonight's live. Thanks so much for joining me for this Black History Month celebration on my channel. We are going to be keeping it blackety black all month long. And thank you so much, Brittany from Melanin Eclectic, for joining me. I always know I can depend on you to come through on a last minute live.
Because I'm here. I try.
Please go subscribe to her channel. She makes amazing content that's very varied. She does journaling stuff. She does like melanin chat. She does book reviews. She talks about owning her own business. Everything.
Gas me up.
Really well done. Especially she has a nice library, and like she's always wearing really great like eyeshadow that's well blended.
Oh my God.
Lipstick choices. Like, I mean, it's over on Melanin Eclectic. I don't know why y'all aren't over there.
That was so ridiculous.
Just go subscribe. Like, the makeup is well done. The filming, everything.
Oh man, all of my friends on the internet are just terrible.
What? I'm praising you.
Every person that I interact with on Beyonce's internet are petty.
I'm not being petty. I'm giving you props.
Everybody, all of y'all, everybody that I've met on YouTube are petty, and I enjoy all of you.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh, Shane, please text me.
Wait, who is this person? Now I gotta go look.
Is the eyeshadow thing in reference to that girl on Married at First Sight? Is there a new season of that?
There's a new season, I think.
Okay, well, I definitely need to go watch that, because if the eyeshadow is that bad, and I've never even watched the show, I've never watched. I've always gotten recaps from my friends about this show, so I might go watch, because I heard that show is very entertaining.
Very. No, I was just saying, because Brittany is kind of like, out of like my crew, she is the person that does the best makeup. So her makeup is always really good. I'm just like, how do you wear lashes and have all these things? Like, what's going on?
Because my mama said if I'm going to do it, I can't look crazy.
I literally can't even be bothered to wear makeup in most of
so I only do it in videos. In real life, I don't look like this great. These are just pictures. Y'all are looking at looking at my social media highlight.
You put in so much effort to look good for your subscribers. I need to step up.
I mean, I go to Walmart and stuff after I record, because my husband might be there. So
you're like, let this makeup not go to waste.
Somebody gonna see this highlight.
I'm such an introvert. My version of that is like, all right, well, time to make some time to take like a sexy bookish photo for Bookstagram.
Oh, and you do be thirst trapping on the booktube or on the Bookstagram, so that works.
I'm trying
the
to
way
turn
that you thirst trap on Bookstagram is the way that I walk into the bread aisle.
I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. I'm going with a more demure Bookstagram this year.
Listen, I gotta wear a mask. So if I gotta grab you, and the only thing that I can grab you with is my eyes, then I'm about to put lashes, eyeshadow, everything. I might not have foundation on underneath that mask, but you about to see these eyes flutter.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we finally understand women who wear the hijabs and wear the full I don't know what the proper term for it is, but I was just like, wow, I need to learn from them, like the burqas. They clearly have this mastered how to like allure people with their presence, with just their eyes showing. I'm like, I need lessons.
It's already hard trying to get a husband. Now you want me to find a husband in a panini? This is not gonna work.
Stop it. This live has gone on.
It has. Let's end it before I get crazy.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for the laughs. It was a great time tonight. I hope you found some great book recommendations, or at least found, things in common if we talked about some books that you've read. And you will catch me in my next video, and Brittany in her next video, and both of us on Black Prose Club next time.
See you Saturday.
See you Saturday. Bye, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.